Hello everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars video. Today I went to my local game store and they had just got in a demo copy of Star Wars Legion. So I was able to sit down and play a few rounds of it. It's pretty fun. So I think they got the core game plus a couple expansions. It is a models game, so the units actually do have to be glued and put together. So like units might be like you might glue the head onto the body and the legs might be like a separate piece and so on. So all the units have to be assembled, kind of like similar to Warhammer and games like that. We had access to the Rebel Walker unit as well as the speeder bike. I believe those are both separate units that you get outside of the main game. I don't believe they're included in the core, but we were able to sit down, play a few rounds. The Rebel side had access to two Rebel squadrons, kind of like Endor troopers, two squads of those. They had access to the little Rebel Walker. I forget the exact model of the Walker, but they had access to that, as well as Luke Skywalker. The Imperial side had access to two Stormtrooper squads, a speeder bike squad, and Darth Vader. So each one has its like a unit. I believe is like it was like five stormtroopers, I think. Or the rebel side, it was like five rebel troopers. In the beginning of each round, you get these cards. They're like your command cards. They kind of basically tell you who will be going first in any given round. You're each going to choose one of those, play it face down, reveal it. Whatever one has the lower number will go first, and the number of on your units will tell you how many unit tokens you get to choose. So for us, we each had 4 unit tokens. So we had each had a token for each stormtrooper, each squad. So each rebel or stormtrooper squad had its own token. The support unit had a token, so a walker for the rebels and the speeder bikes for the Imperials, as well as a token for like the commander or main character like Luke Skywalker or Vader. Basically, going to depending on which card you play, you're going to choose one token and place it on whatever unit it goes on. The other ones that you don't choose will kind of get shuffled up and will be off to the side, and then you'll be able to activate those kind of randomly. So if there's a particular unit you want to know you activate right away, you want to choose that token because when you choose them out of this other pile, they kind of activate um, randomly. So like let's say I put a unit marker on Vader and the speeder bikes. I know the other two are going to be those troopers. And then you can choose which squad to activate when you activate them. On your turn, you get to do basically activate one unit and do two actions with that unit. So, for example, you can move, you can assign a dodge token or a an aim token. They work similarly to X-wing, where basically you spend that token in Legion. If you have an aim token, after you fire, you can spend that aim token to re-roll up to 2 dice. The Stormtrooper unit actually has a thing that lets you re-roll on another one if you happen to use an aim maneuver or aim action. You can move. There's these various these templates that are similar to Armada where they pivot. So you basically say I'm activating this Stormtrooper squad, place the movement template depending on what speed it is. I believe it was speed 2. So each template just goes from 1, 2, and 3. So speed 1, speed 2, and speed 3. The stormtroopers basically you place that on them. You move the squad leader to the end of that tool, and then all the other members of his squad will basically can be placed within one movement of the leader. There's a large range ruler that is actually segmented, so it's like 4 pieces that kind of just hook together like end to end. You can use that to determine if you're within range of shooting. So let's say wanted to shoot at the rebel troopers. I would see if I was in range, and then I would shoot. So let's say I moved. Like move is one action, shoot is another. So basically, you take the number of squad members that you have, and each card will tell you what they roll for attack. Stormtroopers basically just roll they roll white. The white dice aren't particularly great. There's white, red, and black. Basically, you roll all those, If you have any aim tokens, you spend those to reroll. And then the opponent, depending on if they're in cover or have dodge tokens assigned to them, can negate some of those hits. And then basically every hit that is uncanceled, at least if you're going between just generic troops, each uncanceled hit removes one member of that squad. So let's say the Stormtroopers shot at the Rebels. Let's say I rolled 3 hits and they rolled 1 dodge. They would block 1 shot and essentially take 2 damage, removing 2 of those units. Then one of the your opponents will move. They'll do the same thing. Well, they'll move a unit, potentially maybe aim, maybe shoot, maybe take like a dodge token or something like that. And then that will play will proceed back and forth until all the units have activated. The card that you played earlier, Tournament Initiative, will stay out of play. There's only one card I believe that actually comes back to your hand. It's called Standing Orders. So once you play an initiative card, that basically tells you, how many units you're going to choose to start. Um, those cards are out of play. Each player is then going to basically play another one of those. They'll determine, like turn order, like who's going first, how many units that player's um, going to be able to choose right away before they start drawing out of the upside down tokens. And then play will just proceed until one army is defeated, basically. It was only a demo unit, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to purchase the full game just because of the investment involved in completely building all the models, as well as potentially painting them. So there's definitely a lot of time needed to get into Legion fully, where basically you would have to um, build up all the models, maybe paint them, and then actually play the game. And then there are different, of course, different units that are going to be coming out. So I know there's a speeder bike, that unit that is coming out. I think that's a standalone expansion or an expansion for it. I think we just in the demo they happen to just get one support vehicle for each side. But I believe those are sold separately. But I know there's like an air speeder. I think General Veers is a character you can get, and a bunch of other stuff. Each unit will have a card assigned with it that'll tell you all its stats, like how far it can move, what it rolls for defense, if it has any special abilities, like Luke and Vader, for example, have a deflect ability, which is pretty cool. So on your turn, if I activate Vader, I can assign a deflect token to him. Luke can do the same thing. And basically, deflect turns 1 hit. You trade it in, and essentially it blocks 1 shot and deflects it back at whoever shot it. Kind of like in the movies how they would have a lightsaber out and they'd be deflecting shots and all that kind of stuff. So each card has different like abilities. There's upgrades you can put on the characters to get better weapons and so on. So it feels a lot like X-Wing in that regard, where you may have a stormtrooper, but he may have a grenade upgrade that'll let him roll in different dice, things like that. So those are just my initial thoughts on Legion. From just playing a few rounds, I really enjoyed it. I don't know. Again, I don't know if I will completely get into the game, but I was telling people that work there, if somebody has it and they want to play it, I'll be more than happy to play it. I don't know if I'll get into it myself, just based on having to build and potentially maybe paint all the figures. But those are my thoughts on Legion. Overall, it's pretty good. I believe it comes out in a couple weeks, but stores are getting demo copies right now. I know there's some other YouTube channels that have shown off demo videos of it. It's pretty fun. If you're into Star Wars and miniature building and miniature games such as like Warhammer, I think you'll probably like Legion. Um, I hope more people get into it so I can just maybe play their copy. But I eventually may end up just getting my own set. I don't really know. I suppose I can always just build a figure here, a figure there, paint a figure, maybe like slowly just like build up my units, get them built, get them painted, and so on. But that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.